When I figured out that I wanted to be a filmmaker, I was at UC Berkeley and had all these great professors in science and anthropology and film theory, but at the time they didn't have any film production. So I had to get really creative around that constraint of no production with the way that I made films.
So what I did is I'd take old films and I'd re-edit them to tell new stories.
And in retrospect, I am very grateful for that creative constraint because it forced me to create my own unique filmmaking style that I still have today.
I'm Tiffany Schlain. I'm a mother, filmmaker. I founded the Webby Awards. And this series is about how the future doesn't start somewhere far off in the distance. The future starts here. And I think constraints are a good thing for all creativity and life itself. I mean, what makes life so sweet? And the beauty and the preciousness of life is that it's finite and it has an end. And living a good life ultimately is being conscious of that ending. I mean, there's so many people in the tech world that want to live forever. I never thought that'd be a good thing. Constraints in our lives are challenging in so many ways, but they're also what fuel passion and creativity. Like, I love this story about when filmmaker Alfred Hitchcock was making Psycho, and at the time there was this motion picture production code called the Hays Code for sex and violence. So to avoid showing either explicitly, he ended up doing 78 camera setups for that one shower scene. So that constraint led him to create one of the most riveting and famous scenes in all of cinema. Or other times, there are just constraints due to our physical bodies.
There's a very important clue was found here.
Like Hitchcock also had this great line, a film should only be as long as your bladder can hold, which is an hour and a half. Now with the web, a movie can only be as long as our attentions can hold, which is about 5 minutes. So I hope you're still watching. Another creative constraint we've seen throughout history is when artists have taken a piece of work from the past and reimagined it through a new lens, keeping the same structure or storyline. My husband Ken and I love to do something similar, where we reimagine our favorite poems and create films using the same structure. Like we took Allen Ginsberg's poem Howl and rewrote it to be a manifesto about our addiction to technology.
I saw the best minds of my generation distracted by texting, emailing, tweeting.
Constraints of all different forms force us to be creative in different ways. I think creativity is about doing something unique with whatever you have to work with.
One of my heroes is a filmmaker named Maya Deren,
who made these amazing experimental films in the 1940s. When she began making films, there were no places to screen her avant-garde work like there were in France. So with that constraint, she decided to show her films in her Greenwich Village apartment in New York. And then she started renting theaters to show them and toured around encouraging others to make experimental and personal films. And she basically helped birth independent movie culture outside of the Hollywood system. She's often referred to as the mother of avant-garde film, and of course carved a path for women filmmakers. Thank you, Maya. Whenever I'm feeling stuck, I think,
who are my creative heroes and what obstacles did they have to overcome? Because life is filled with obstacles and limited resources.
But those challenges can be our greatest teachers.
And using that creative bondage to ask yourself, how can I do this differently, is what creativity is all about.
I'm Tiffany Schlain. I'm a mother, filmmaker. I founded the Webby Awards. And this series is about how the future doesn't start somewhere far off in the distance. The future starts here.